We live on a tiny blue planet floating through space, and the universe is a mean place. We aren't as safe as you think. The universe isn't always kind to life. There are countless ways in which the Earth could be destroyed tomorrow, and some are more likely than others. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like asteroids hitting the Earth. So let me show you 4 of the most terrifying ways that the Earth could be destroyed literally tomorrow. And you need to be prepared, because when I learned about the last one, I genuinely lost sleep for weeks. In the depths of the cosmos exists an object that even Einstein didn't believe existed in reality. It wanders the galaxy all alone, and if it comes near our little blue planet, it wouldn't even have to touch us to end all life on Earth for eternity. The worst part is, it's invisible, and it's not alone. It's estimated that there might be 500 million of these terrifying objects wandering our galaxy alone, and trillions more throughout the observable universe. I'm talking about rogue black holes. These are black holes that are born when massive stars reach the end of its life. The core collapses and leaves behind a black hole. This black hole will then wander the cosmos, invisible to the naked eye. There's a few methods that we can use to detect them, all of which rely on looking at how the black hole interacts with its environment. Sometimes we find them sucking matter off another star, and sometimes we see the star being whipped around the black hole by its intense gravity. Other times we actually can just find them by looking at how their gravity distorts the light behind them. This distortion effect is known as gravitational lensing. Stellar mass black holes that wander the galaxy all alone are much, much smaller than you might think. Stars like the Sun are more than 1 million kilometers wide, and giant stars like Betelgeuse can be even larger than that, more than 1 billion kilometers wide. That's as large as Jupiter's orbit around the Sun. But because black holes are the densest objects in the known universe, a black hole with a mass equal to our Sun would be just 6 kilometers wide. This makes this kind of black hole nearly impossible to detect. The closest black hole that we found is Gaia BH1, a terrifying black hole that's around 1,560 light years away. And I'm sure you're like, oh well, that's fine. I mean, there's stars that are like 4 light years away, and we aren't worried that any of them are gonna come crashing into us anytime soon. And I hear you, but get this. We have only found a few dozen of these black holes ever, and we think there's 500 million of them around us. Assuming they are evenly distributed throughout the galaxy, there should be one within around 50 light years of the Earth. Now I'm sure you don't feel quite as safe, do you? If a rogue black hole did happen to enter our solar system, things would get scary quick. We would only really be able to detect the black holes by seeing the distortion of space-time around the black hole's event horizon as it journeys towards us. There are 3 ways that the black hole could destroy life on Earth in this scenario. The most obvious would of course be the black hole swallowing the Earth whole. If the black hole made direct contact with Earth, it would quickly tear us apart and consume the planet. This is the most unlikely scenario. The chances of it happening in our galaxy are about 1 in 1 billion. Another way to destroy the Earth would be if the black hole tidally disrupts our planet. This is where the black hole passes close enough to us such that the gravitational pull on the close side of the Earth is much stronger than the far side. This would lead to the planet being ripped apart and would transform the Earth into a stretched out stream of debris that looks like a piece of spaghetti, earning this process the scientific name spaghettification. The chances of this happening would be about 1 in 10 million. These odds are still small, but not that small. It's more likely than you winning the jackpot on a Powerball lottery ticket. And finally, life on Earth could be completely destroyed, even if the black hole comes nowhere near us. If it simply passed through somewhere in the vicinity of the solar system, it could disturb the orbits of all of the planets, causing Earth to be sent flying out of the solar system or even into the Sun. This option is by far the most likely. There is a 1 in 10,000 chance that a black hole passes within the orbit of Jupiter over the course of the solar system's history. If we do one day discover that a black hole is on a collision course with the Earth, I personally hope that they keep it from us, because frankly, there's nothing we could do. We would just have to accept our fate. 150 million kilometers away from the Earth is our biggest friend and perhaps biggest enemy. The sun gives Earth life, but it can just as easily take it away. Roughly every 11 years, the sun goes through a cycle of getting progressively more active before calming down for a few years. And the terrifying part is, we have literally just entered into the next solar maximum just a few weeks ago. I've spoken on this channel before about how in a few billion years, the sun will run out of fuel and expand into a red supergiant, consuming the Earth. But this is not the danger I'm talking about. I'm talking about solar storms. Solar flares and coronal mass ejections are events that essentially consist of really quickly moving charged particles being ejected from the sun and shot out into space. There is constantly a stream of these particles being shot out of the sun, and this forms what we call solar wind. But these focused events can be extremely dangerous if they are aimed at the Earth. Perhaps the best example of this is back in 1859. An astronomer named Richard Carrington was tracking a really massive sunspot when all of a sudden he saw a massive white flash of light. This blinding white light flare lasted for a total of 5 minutes, and just 18 hours later, havoc ensued here on Earth. Aurora was seen all around the globe, and mining workers were awoken during the night because they thought that it was daytime. It was just so bright outside due to the aurora. Telegraph systems even caught fire despite being entirely disconnected. This would forever go on to be known as the Carrington event, the strongest geomagnetic storm in recorded history. If something like that happened today, it would likely cause millions of people to die and many trillions of dollars worth of damage. The reason these storms are so dangerous comes down to how they actually form within the sun. When we look at the sun using our modern technology, we can see these loops, tendrils, and streams of hot ionized plasma. Plasma is just atoms that have been cooked to be so hot that they lost all of their electrons, just leaving the atomic nuclei behind. And all of these explosive features are caused by the sun's magnetic field. The hot charged particles get caught in the magnetic field that's generated within the sun's surface, causing them to travel on these massive arches. We are literally seeing the magnetic field with our own eyes right there. These magnetic field lines enter and exit the surface of the sun super randomly, and because they are so strong, we often see them loop back, split apart, and then reconnect. When this happens, the particles get accelerated.
Ever stuck without Wi-Fi? InstaBridge, one of the world's most